Well, commiserations, Gary. A very frustrating and disappointing afternoon.
Very disappointing. You come into as a football manager, I think as a chairman, as a director, as a supporter, you look at football, and one thing is about it, you can never predict. You see a performance last week at home against Braintree, which I thought the team played very, very well, committed, played a good brand of football, worked very, very hard, and deservedly won the game. You put the same 11 players out on the park 7 days later, and you see the same 11 players, as good as they were 1 week, just as poor the next. And that's what you call frustrating. That's what you call frustrating, because it was a nice week in respect of coming into the week of last week's performance and seeing the team play to a brand with the type of commitment we want to see down at Woking. And you pick the same team away here today at Welling, and I think everyone who would have looked at the team sheet would have said exactly the same team as last week. Rightly so, John. It was a case of today, I'm afraid, that they won a lot more personal individual battles. They seemed they had more desire. I saw them midweek, they were very poor, but all credit to Jamie, he got a very good reaction out of them. Don't know whether it was a case of that we done well last week and saw their result midweek against Tide, and feel that it's just going to be a formality. It don't happen like that, John. It's the sort of league, and I think everybody knows this league, that that you can go and win 3 or 4 games and you can be on a run and it's going one way. You lose 3 or 4 games, you can be looking over your shoulder and you're in a battle again. But one thing is you ask for all the time is consistency, and we struggle with that level. We struggle with that in respect of whether that's down to a certain amount of the mentality of part-time players. Whatever way you look at it, where it's a case of they're part-time players and their work takes a certain amount out of them, I don't know, John, but I couldn't turn around and say that is the reason today, because Welling are part-time, and they were far superior to us. I thought we were let down by Kieran. Very disappointing there. It was hard enough as it was to watch the game as a manager and see a performance where we were second throughout, and then 2 lack of discipline tackles, and whatever way you look at, no complaints about the sending off. And at half time being 0-0, you're pleased to be getting in at 0-0, but hoping for a reaction. And I felt, to be honest with you, that as soon as the first goal went in, it was going to be one way, but I think the second goal killed us with the penalty. And then at the end of the day, John, you're looking at the situation, you want the referee to blow the final whistle, because you have to come in at the end and say, to the players, it is a disappointing day.
And one doesn't want to harp on about it too much, Gary, but that Kieran Murtagh sending off right before half time was a really big turning point, wasn't it? Because although you hadn't played particularly well in the first half, it looked like you were going to perhaps sort of get away with it, at least get them into half time level.
Hey, John, we got in level at half time, we were level at half time. The sending off at the end of the day hasn't helped us. I wouldn't put it down to the sending off today with the first half performance, because it was 43 minutes gone, and the first 43 minutes was what I saw with the same team that played last week against Braintree. Very disappointing. I'm the same as a lot of managers, I like to feel, at the end of the day. You've got to be honest in this game, and I am angry, I'm frustrated. I'm saying, look at the support we had here today. Great support up there. They saw a performance last week, they've travelled around the M25, turned up here in good numbers today, and they must go back in the car, go around the M25 and saying, that's the same team that played last week against Braintree, exactly the same team, performance last week, performance this week. That's where it is, John, that's where it is.
And looking for positives, young Rhys Beckles came on and showed great energy, didn't he? Great enthusiasm, John, and appetite.
The young boy come on, he's done very, very well in training. He's come on there for 20 minutes today. He's made a very, very game-committed impact on the game with his running. And, he's a young lad, don't get me wrong, but bravery. He went into 1 or 2 positions where he risked getting hurt in their penalty area. Showed a lot today, showed a lot. I was very pleased. I said to Steve Thompson, in the 20 minutes he come on there today, there was some very good insights from him, that's for sure.
And Gary, obviously now no Kieran for Tuesday, that leaves the squad even more threadbare.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself fetching in some players between now and then?
Well, of course we are thin, and I'll be honest with you, I was quite relaxed this week. I thought I had a player come in last night, but I talked to the chairman, I talked to the board, and they know that I won't panic, but I won't get in, and the club won't get in. Let's get this out in the open, nice and clear. This football club will not get itself in a position to turn round and have an ego to try and force ourselves or spend money which is against the grain. We won't do it. It's not there. I had a player who agreed to come on Friday, 11 o'clock. His agent phoned me up at 12:30 and said, Gary, I know you're not going to like it, but the club's just blown you out of the water. And I shook my head when he said the club. Now, I ain't getting involved in situations. I manage a football club as a football manager, which I'm very proud of. I work with a board, I work with supporters, I work with a football club which has been run very, very well since I've been there over the last 3 years. And we know what we've got to do, we know what we can do, and we're not going to turn around and be silly. And there's money available. I'm under the budget, which we have set at the start of the season, to go out and fetch players. I know the type of players I want, John. I know the players. When you look over the last year, 18 months, you see people who come to the club, and it's very, very hard because we're not in the position to have that quality, because we can't afford that finances on a regular basis. We're a building club again. But when you look at the Billy Knotts of this world, and the Jaden Stockleys and the Bradley Bubbs and the Jack Marriotts and the Scott Rendells, we know the type of players we want to fetch here with the players we've got here. We have to turn around and be level-headed as a football club. We have to be controlled, we have to be sensible. Our number one thing, and always will be at the present time, till we become a football club, which we all talk about, which we're all aware of being self-efficient, and that might be another 2 years, might be 3 years, it might be when a time when I'm not at the football club, but the football club is in good hands, and we've got a policy which I'm happy with, and I won't panic, the board are happy with, and we'll fetch the right players in at the right figure, what we can afford to not jeopardise Woking Football Club. How's that sound?
Very good, Gary. Finally,
Yeah.
Chester at home on Tuesday night. Just appointed Steve Burr as a new manager. Big game.
All big games, but Bury, I know Steve, known him 20 years, top manager, and you always know they're going to get a reaction. Any club that gets a new manager in gets a reaction straight away. And I've been told they beat Barnet today, and that's a good, and they come down buoyant. But we're looking for a reaction. I don't care what goes on down there or goes on round the corner. I want a reaction out on the park on Tuesday night, and we'll do our utmost to get a reaction and see what comes.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Gary.
Cheers.